Connect. Capitalize.
This is your host, Eugene Rowe. Hope you're having a great day. Make sure you make your way over to the website at homeofbiz.com. That's HOMBABIZ.com, and sign up for our free newsletter where you discover your number one asset and how to use it to live the life that you want. Someone that's doing that and helping kids live the life that they want is Miss Christina Hovestadt, director of the Rashad Jennings Foundation. Christina, thanks for taking your time out right here on the Podcast for Business.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
So tell us a little bit about you and your background.
Absolutely. So I am the executive director of the Rashad Jennings Foundation. Rashad is a 9-year NFL veteran, and he's a running back, so that's pretty exciting and very rare these days. My background is really in sports journalism and public relations. So when I went to school in college at the University of North Florida, I majored in sports and PR. That was my track that I went in, and I had always had this dream of getting into the sports industry. I graduated, unfortunately, during the recession, so getting a job in my dream career was very hard, but because of the internships that I did throughout college, I was able to go ahead and kind of land something, and that was at Channel 4 in Jacksonville, Florida, and I also worked at WTLV, which is Channel 12 in Jacksonville, Florida. So at that time, I realized that my passion wasn't really sports media anymore, and so I started working as an event coordinator at the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, fell in love with kids, took a side job coaching at the local high school, and then quickly realized that my passion and my purpose in life was to work with children on a full-time basis. So for about 3 years after that, I was a high school teacher. I continued to coach, and then Rashad and I partnered up and teamed up together, and now we have a national and really expanding into a worldwide foundation in sports philanthropy.
So you said a lot of great stuff. First of all, graduated during the recession, but you had already made the contacts necessary. You networked, you interned, you served, and you eventually met up with the partner who needed some help. Well, I'm guessing he needed some help with growing the foundation, and now you've grown it nationally. How many markets are you guys in?
So our goal is to be in the 32 NFL cities. What we do is we brand programs for NFL players. So when Rashad was a rookie coming in, he would go to the community relations department with the Jags, and they would give him all these opportunities to give back to the community. He would go, but he would realize the next day that he wanted to go reach back to little Johnny, who he just mentored, but now he's at a different school the next week. And so right then he kind of stopped doing that, and he started doing his own thing. And he said, I want to create programs for players that want to give back, but they want to have their own programs, but they don't really know how to run a foundation, and they don't want to run a foundation because of the legalities of everything. And so now all of our programs are based around not only giving back to youth, but creating programs for players to give back to youth. So when Rashad is 60 years old, he's able to go back to a rookie symposium at the NFL and still run programs through his foundation and leave his legacy that way through other people.
So we're talking to Christina Hovestadt right here on the Podcast for Business. Make sure you visit the website and sign up for our new free e-newsletter and discover the number one asset in your life and how to use it to live the life that you want. Christina, you said even some more great stuff. It's hard to believe. We could do a whole podcast on all the things you said, whether they're sports stars or whether they're not. A lot of people are the people that can be the performer, but they don't know how to set up systems and infrastructure for other people to be able to plug into. You guys are doing a great job at building the infrastructure for other people to plug into and build their programs. What's the mindset that you have to have in order to be able to properly do that?
I'm naturally a visionary at heart. I have an entrepreneur mindset, even working in nonprofit. And you really have to be able, I think, in anything in life, I think everything is about relationships, and I think that you can agree with that. And I think as someone who's kind of building the infrastructure, you really need to think of something that can be turnkey. First of all, so you don't experience burnout, especially with me. I'm working with 32 NFL players from all 32 teams, and it's only me. So I think going into it, we created something that would be easy for the person that's giving back, and then also easy for the people that will be implementing the programs, that the people that we're actually giving back to. And so I just think for me every day, the mindset going in is how can I make this easy but very, very effective, meet benchmarks that, of the schools that we're trying to give back to, but also make the people that are giving back happy and do it with excellence. So I think it's all about just creating something turnkey and really just having that visionary mindset and being okay with like trial and error, just saying, okay, I want to try this, and then realizing maybe this doesn't really work this way, and being okay with that, knowing that the vision will always grow as long as you're doing something to get there.
You're hearing Christina Hovestadt on the podcast for business. She's the executive director of the Rashad Jennings Foundation. Now, Christina, the next few questions I have always give an insight into the way a person thinks. They're really simple, but I think you'll enjoy answering them, and I think people will enjoy listening to the answers, okay?
Sure.
So which of the two defines you more, results-oriented or detail-oriented?
Oof. That's a tough one. I would say results-oriented. I'm very results-oriented.
Okay. And if you had to make a major decision, which do you value more, official data or an internet search?
Official data. Definitely official data. Like with the schools that we reach, we have to have the data of knowing that we actually are meeting needs. Like people, a lot of nonprofits, foundations, people that give back, they pride themselves on we're giving back, we're making a difference. But if I don't see the data, especially as a former teacher, I'm like, I can't believe you.
I can agree with that because, my wife and I, we do a certain amount of giving with our church. The amount, I won't say on the air, we don't need to worry about that. But one thing I do want to make sure is that those funds are being used to the best possible ability. And I've heard some pitches before from different nonprofits, and they say, just give it to us. We've got a good idea. Is that always is that a great thing to do at all?
No, again, people want to be a part of something. We're created to be a part of something, to have community. And so with the foundation, we try to create everything of like a family feel. You're involved. This is what you're doing. So everything that I give to my donors or that I present, or look at these numbers, look at how many more accelerated reader points our students had this month that they used our program versus this month before. Check out, not just check out the smile on these kids' faces, like, yes, but if you're not sustaining that smile with your programs, then you're not really doing your job. So I think it's good to have the personal stories, but if you can have the data to back it up, I think that's where your funds come in. That's where you get just ongoing support and buy-in for the vision, not only from the people that are doing the programs, but the people that are actually providing the funds to do them.
We're talking to Christina Hovestadt, Executive Director of the Rashad Jennings Foundation, right here on the podcast for business. Now, Christina, you sound very well-spoken, very well-studied. So just to rub it in, where'd you graduate college?
University of North Florida.
Oh, I praise.
Yes, UNF.
Well, I was one of the U's that never finished, but congratulations to you, okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm telling you, I was so nervous going to that school. I was a student athlete, but I was so nervous going to the school because I felt like that was going to happen to me. Like in the back of my head, I knew I was a really good student, but everybody said, you're never going to finish. And I'm like, oh, but I did in 4 years.
Oh, man. Christina Hovestadt, Executive Director with the Rashad Jennings Foundation. How can they find out more about you and or the foundation?
Absolutely. They can go to ChristinaHovestadt.com or they can go to the RashadJenningsFoundation.org. And so ChristinaHovestadt.com has kind of a hub, and then Instagram is Coach Christina, and Twitter is Christina's Buzz.
Awesome, Christina Hovestadt. Thanks for taking your time out on the podcast for business.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Connect, capitalize, go.